Colts owner Jim Irsay recently on the episode of the Pat McAfee show had some comments around Anthony Richardson, his future, and his development. And on the Pat McAfee show, he said, and I quote, "For Anthony Richardson, it's going to be tough. We know that. But he has to play to get better." I mean, there's no question. Gardner Minshew could come out and obviously play better early on, just being a veteran, but we have to get Anthony on the field. That's Shane Steichen's call when he decides to do it. Now, let's contextualize these comments by Jim Irsay, right? Basically, what he said about Anthony Richardson is that, hey, if you're a Colts fan, don't come into this season expecting Anthony Richardson to light the world on fire. And we know with Anthony Richardson, if you expect him to succeed this year, you know that there's going to be a lot of growing pains along this road. You're going to have some good performances where you see Anthony Richardson play fantastic and you say, okay, I see why the Indianapolis Colts drafted him 4th overall. And then you're going to see some games out of Anthony Richardson in 2023 that are going to make you say, okay, I get what everybody was saying about him being a project player. There's going to be a lot of ups and a lot of downs that comes with the Anthony Richardson experience in his first season if he does end up being named the week 1 starter. But what Jim Irsay has said isn't what most of us haven't said all off season. Most of us have pretty much have said that if Anthony Richardson is going to get better, he's only going to do that on the field, getting actual reps. There's only so much that you can learn sitting behind Gardner Minshew holding the clipboard. Anthony Richardson doesn't have a lot of experience being a quarterback, not just a starting quarterback in the NFL, but just playing the quarterback position in general. He didn't start all but 1 season fully for the Florida Gators last season. So this is somebody that has all the tools and all the potential to be the most talented quarterback in the NFL, but you have to get him up to stuff when it comes to what it takes to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. For Anthony Richardson, it's going to take him a while to get to where he needs to be from a mental aspect, being able to process defenses, being able to understand how defenses are trying to disguise their coverages and trying to bait him into mistakes. Those are things that you can learn on the bench, but you're going to have a better time understanding those things faster by seeing it in-game, getting more in-game experience and repetition. And for the Indianapolis Colts, I don't think throwing Anthony Richardson out there to the Wolves week 1 puts you at a disadvantage in terms of you being able to win games. We've seen examples from Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Justin Fields, teams being able to win with a quarterback who may not be polished as a passer, but is a fantastic athlete with his legs. Justin Fields, and the games that he played last year for the Chicago Bears, a good handful of those games came down to 1-possession scores due to how well he played. And especially when you look at what Lamar Jackson did his rookie season with the Baltimore Ravens. He pretty much turned their season around, saved John Harbaugh's job, and got the Ravens into the wild card round, not just because what he did throwing the football, which he wasn't great at his rookie season, but how unstoppable he was when he decided to run with the football. And when you look at Anthony Richardson, the guy has incredible size, great athleticism. I mean, this dude is the second coming of Cam Newton, just with some slight upgrades. So there's not too many people that are going to want to tackle a 6'4", 6'5" quarterback that's 240 something pounds that runs 4.4 in the open field. There's not too many teams who are going to be able to slow down this rushing attack with AR and Jonathan Taylor. So there is a formula to the Indianapolis Colts being able to be a competitive football team this year, despite the fact that we know that Anthony Richardson is going to be less to be desired as a passer. And you got to have a lot of confidence in Shane Steichen, and that's why Jim Irsay left that comment, or the last portion of it, saying that it's basically in Shane Steichen's court when he feels Anthony Richardson is ready to be thrown out there. And if Anthony Richardson is thrown out there early, I'm pretty confident that Shane Steichen is going to put Anthony Richardson in the offense that's going to minimize his weaknesses and maximize his strength. Shane Steichen is a really successful offensive coordinator, or he was a really successful offensive coordinator prior to to getting the head coaching job in Indianapolis. We know what he did the last couple of seasons with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, but a lot of people tend to forget that he was also Justin Herbert's offensive coordinator his rookie season when he was going off for the LA Chargers. And the same thing that people were saying about Anthony Richardson, most people were echoing those similar sentiments with Justin Herbert going into his rookie season. And we saw how Justin Herbert completely shocked everybody with how well he played during his rookie campaign. So with Anthony Richardson, he is in great hands with Shane Steichen being his head coach. Shane Steichen has worked with quarterbacks that have a similar skill set to Anthony Richardson. Jalen Hurts wasn't the most polished passer coming out of Oklahoma, and Shane Steichen was able to put him in the system that was able to get Jalen Hurts to play at a good enough level that got the Philadelphia Eagles to the playoffs during Jalen Hurts' second year. And then last season, we saw Jalen Hurts take a tremendous leap under Shane Steichen in his second season, having him as his offensive coordinator. So if you look at the job that Shane Steichen has previously done with Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts, you have to feel pretty confident if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan about how Anthony Richardson is going to perform this year. Now, if you're expecting Anthony Richardson to come into his first season and just absolutely dominate from week 1 to week 17, like, your expectations are way too high. There's going to be some great performances and some performances that make you shake your head. That's just what's going to come with the Anthony Richardson experience. You got a very young quarterback who's a very raw passer, and a lot of the things that he has to clean up can be fixed over time with repetition and great coaching. But Anthony Richardson is only going to get better with in-game experience. And if you're the Indianapolis Colts and you're inside of the organization, you already know that if you start Anthony Richardson, you're probably not going to be good during his first season, but you're okay with that because this season is dedicated towards making Anthony Richardson gaining more experience and making sure that he's able to get thrown into the water really early, so come next season, you won't have as many growing pains. So this is basically what I have concluded and gathered from Jim Irsay's recent comments on Monday when he did his guest appearance on the Pat McAfee show. And we already know that if you do start Gardner Minshew week 1, he gives you the best chance to win. But it seems like if they go with Anthony Richardson week 1, it seems like the long-term goal of this season is going to be trying to be as competitive as possible with Anthony Richardson at the helm as the starting quarterback. But I like the fact that Jim Irsay's comments pretty much say that the Colts are going all in on Anthony Richardson this year. So if Anthony Richardson gets thrown into the fire and he struggles early, it doesn't sound like they plan on taking him out. It sounds like regardless how bad he plays, they're going to continue to let him push through it because that's the only way young quarterbacks can get better, especially in the face of adversity. So let me know what you guys think about Jim Irsay's comments about Anthony Richardson, his status as the starter going into this year, and his development.